Thank you. If you haven't already done so, if you could share your name, your affiliation, and roles, and your location, if you choose to. And I'll take also this time to introduce myself and my team. So happy to be here with you all today. Janet Vargas. I'm a trainer and a coach with Illinois Action for Children CS3 team, which stands for Community System Statewide Supports. We offer technical assistance, training, and coaching to early childhood collaborations across the state of Illinois. And we are so happy to be here with you today. And today I'm joined by my team who will be providing tech support. I'll let you all introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Kristen Garcia, one of the CS3 program coordinators.
Hello, my name is Armand Vargas. I am also on the CS3 program coordinators.
Vanessa Lee, I am here as backup tech support, also on the CS3 team.
Thanks. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of awesome folks in the virtual room coming from all over the state, right? We have Bloomington in the house. Let's see, Palatine and Wheeling. I love it. Brisbane, Australia. Am I reading this correctly? Is somebody joining us from Australia? Well, we got to figure this one out before we end our time together. But I see Sandra Tucker. She says Youth Justice and Multicultural Affairs from Brisbane, Australia, and I'm excited. But also just excited to have people here from all over the state: Urbana, Champaign, Cahokia School District, Fox Valley, Family Focus Landale, from near and far. So thank you all for being here today. Oh yes, so exciting. I'm gonna have to hear how you heard about this training. But we're excited to have you all here. All right, let's jump in and get started because we have a lot to cover today. All right, let me move your beautiful faces out of the way. I have three screens, and three screens sometimes is a good thing and sometimes it's not. So if I look like I'm looking at two different places at once, that's why. All right. We're gonna start with an icebreaker called Draw Your Neighbor. And you are going to need something to write with and something to write on. All right, so this icebreaker consists of drawing your neighbor to the right of you on your Zoom. So I know there's a lot of folks who have their video off. If I can ask if you feel camera ready, because I know sometimes we're not. I am guilty of that. If you feel comfortable, you can turn on your video. If not, we understand. But we're gonna do the best, right, to work with what we got. So we're gonna draw your neighbor to your right. If you are all the way to the right, you're gonna draw the first person on the same row as you. So we're gonna get 1 minute to draw your neighbor to the right or the person in the first row. And when I tell you to start, don't start yet. I just want to remind you that we're not asking for any, artistic expertise here, but if you want to bring it, go ahead. This is more like Pictionary, right? What matters the most is that we are capturing the person and the person's essence. after we draw for 1 minute, we're going to, whoever wants to share their drawing, we can take turns figuring out who it is. You don't have to, but I think it'll be fun. All right, so start. Well, any questions before we start? Does everybody have something to draw with?
Janet, do you want to stop sharing so everyone can be in gallery view? I think someone said that they couldn't see their neighbor. I-59.
Yes. Thank you. All right, but better? All right, cool. All right, and go. And I know I see a couple of messages that people can't participate because they're unable to draw or they're in transit. No worries. All right, maybe 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, pencils down, pens down. Maybe the last little freckle on the face. All right. I just realized, I'm like, oh, do I have my both earrings or just one? Okay. Who wants to share their drawing so we could try to figure out or try to guess who it is? You can, okay. So I see a hand. Let's see, I can go. Okay, Sierra Rush.
Okay,
Okay.
I can't draw.
It's all good. We all right. Thank you, Sierra. All right, let's see. Who do we think that is? All right. And you could feel free to put it in the chat or unmute and take a guess of who we think that is.
That looks like Anne.
Is it
Is it
Anne?
Anne? No.
Yeah, let's see. And if you want to put your heads up so
It's
that we
like
can see your
Julie.
faces.
Is it Janet?
Yes, it's Janet.
Thank you.
Winner.
Tried to draw the earrings since my drawing is bad. I tried to get the earrings.
Thank you. Oh, you also put the partner plan act, right?
Yeah.
That's the giveaway. That's the giveaway. Thank you, Sierra.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your drawing. You captured my essence. Anybody else want to share their picture?
I can share. I hope you can see it because mine's kind of small.
Okay. And sorry if you all don't get a chance to share yours today. Feel free to take a picture of it and share it. But okay, go ahead, Amber.
Hang on, I might have to take off my, come to me next. I need to take off my screen so that it'll work. You can see
All
it.
right. Okay, so Kathy Lucas. Go for it. It seems a little blurry. There we go. Who do we think that is?
Armand.
Armand. Is that Armand?
Okay, I'm showing mine now because guess what? Armand is beside me too.
Nice.
Good.
I love it. All right, let's see. Anyone else want to share theirs before we move on? We have time for one more. All right, that's fine. That's fine. It's a little intimidating when we see all the lovely drawings that have already been shared. Well, thank you all very much. Let me continue sharing my screen. Thank you for indulging me. Now that we have broken the ice, let's move on. All right, so as you all might know, today's workshop is the second in a series of 4 entitled Practical Strategies for Engaging Parents in Your Collaboration. Each workshop covered one of the 4 typical parent engagement roles for collaborations, and noting again that you're invited to all of them, and we would be happy to have you at all of them, but you don't have to attend them all to benefit from each individually. Let's see, and I also want to note that if you weren't able to make it to a previous workshop, that they will be recorded and posted on our website. And as you may have already seen in the chat, Kristen shared the 3rd section of our parent engagement handbook entitled Implementing the 4 Community Systems and Policy Engagement Roles. You don't necessarily have to have it printed out or even up, but if you want to follow along or peruse through it, you have access to it. And I will also point to, at the lower right-hand corner of this slide in particular, and some of the other slides, if I talk about a tool that is in the handbook, you'll find a little box at the bottom right-hand corner that indicates what page you could find it on and what the name of the tool is. Cool. All right, and then Armand also shared our website so that you can either register for upcoming trainings and or find recordings of previous trainings. In terms of training objectives, participants will understand and receive the tools to be able to explain the following, well, to understand it for themselves and be able to explain the following to their colleagues: the role of collaboration parent leader, the benefits of engaging parents in this role, resources needed to engage parents as collaboration parent leaders, and how to start engaging parents in this role, including some recommendations on recruitment. And to accomplish these objectives, we will be doing a little bit of level setting with the parent engagement and community systems. We'll go into what is the collaboration parent leader role, including benefits to engaging and to implementing the role. And then the bulk and heart of, well, the heart of today's workshop will be around how to engage parents as collaboration parent leaders. Then we'll have a 10-minute break at around 11. I know at the first workshop, I shortchanged you and gave you 5 minutes. I promise it's gonna be 10 minutes this time, I promise, whatever we have to do. Then we'll again, go into briefly reviewing some recommendations for recruitment and end our time together with some reflection questions and peer learning in breakout groups and the full group discussion to talk about, you know, what are we taking away and what questions are still lingering regarding the role. And you can follow along with the PowerPoint PDF that Kristen just attached to the chat. And today's going to be really participatory, I hope. If you're able to participate, please do so. If you're not, we understand too. At any point, you can ask a question, put it in the chat, or just unmute and jump in. We're a pretty smallish group. Intimate group of 40. All right, so first of all, I just want to review what we mean when we say parent. When talking about parent engagement, we're using the Head Start definition of parent, which reads all adults who interact with early childhood systems in support of their child, including but not limited to biological, adoptive, and foster parents, grandparents, legal and informal guardians, uncles, aunts, and adult siblings. So if you see the left-hand side of that slide, anybody that comes in support of their child, right? That's what we mean by parent. A little bit more of level setting. So my team and I created this graphic based off of Kofi, Community Organizing and Family Issues, their parent engagement model. But we merged it with the early childhood system engagement roles. So these spheres represent what parents have the power to influence once they become involved in those corresponding roles. So in our experience, parents usually begin their engagement in the self and family sphere in roles such as potential early learning client, adult learner, and first teacher, right? We get involved to help support the academic and just overall development of our children. As their children become participants in programs and services, as parents, we may volunteer and or even partner with these programs and services to make them better and just to help out. And then, today we will focus on the role of collaboration parent leader in this area, the community systems and policy work. Sphere of influence. So, because this is where collaborations tend to focus their work. And this level setting is important because, you know, parent engagement will look a little different for collaborations than it does for programs and services. And why is this an important distinction? Because the work is a little different, so it follows that the engagement might be a little different than what we've been doing for programs and services. However, there's a lot of things that are still very similar. So we just want to keep, you know, ask you to keep this in mind as we move forward today. All right, so in terms of those 4 typical engagement roles, in the community systems and policy sphere, the green sphere, my son's favorite color. The typical roles for engaging parents in a collaboration include family and community experts. So this is a workshop that we already held on this role, which consists of asking parents to talk about, share their lived experiences of themselves, their children, their families, and their communities, because that is such an invaluable expertise. Then there's outreach ambassador, where parents engage in peer-to-peer outreach to either share the importance of early childhood programs, share information, get referrals, or just, you know, find parents through door knocking and at different public events or spaces. Today, collaboration parent leader is a role we're going to dig in a little deeper, and that is where we support parents to become active participants in collaborations. And then the 4th role that we offer is advocate, where families use their testimonies and lived experiences to promote or stop a change in the early childhood system. And that will also, you know, that will be one of the future workshops. Let's see, and I know I'm going through the other roles really fast. If you want to read into them a little further, we go into detail on each of these roles in the handbook. So I suggest that you read up on it if you want to. Okay, and then this is our definition, more level setting of parent engagement in general. Okay, and this is where I'm going to lean in on one of y'all. Can somebody help me read these first 2 sections of our parent engagement definition?
I'll read it. We define. We define parent engagement in early childhood collaborations as both a process and an outcome. As a process, parent engagement is a process by which parents inform and influence the collaboration's priorities, strategies, and decision-making. It requires an intentional effort by the collaboration to provide the opportunity and support parents' needs to participate.
Thanks, Amber. And then who is going to jump in next to read?
I'll go next.
Can you share your name with us? All I see is
Wonder why I did that. Francis. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Francis.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, that last bullet.
As an outcome, should I do that one?
Yes, please.
As an outcome, ideal parent engagement is successfully achieved when parents and collaboration members build effective partnerships and share responsibility, expertise, and/or leadership in the collaboration and its work.
Thank you, Francis. Excuse me. And so I want to note that our definition is both a process, is something that we do, right? Like parent engagement isn't just something that happens, but it takes a lot of intentional work and coordination and resources. And it's also an outcome, right? What happens as a result of us putting in all this time and effort and creating a process, right? What does it look like? And so now we want to hear from you. So we want to launch poll question number 1, which is, does your collaboration or program have a parent engagement definition in writing that you use? So Kristen, can you launch that poll for us? I can't
Yes,
see it,
just
so if
did.
it's launched, let me know. And you know, the answers are yes, no, I'm not sure. I think is other an option? No, okay. But it can be. If it's other, just put it in the chat. So Kristen, just let me know when we're ready to close it.
Okay, I'll close it right now. Seems like no one else is responding.
Okay. And if you are in transit or can't do the poll, if you want to just unmute and just put your answer verbally or in the chat, that's cool too. All right, you can close it. Can you launch the results too, or share the results?
Yeah, I think we're seeing it.
Okay, I can't see it. Can you share?
Sorry. 36%, so 8 out of 22 respondents said yes. 5 out of 22, 23% said no. 9 out of 22, 41% said I'm not sure.
Okay, why might it be a good idea to have a parent engagement definition in writing? You could just unmute, jump in, use the chat.
I can jump in. This is Valerie from Enlace. I think it's great to have it for accountability, but also to help you as an organization or a collab leader. It's a good reminder about where the work is, who the work is for, where it's coming from, who is driving it, and informing it. So I think it doesn't have to be something that's concrete or fixed. It can also be a fluid definition, I think, because our communities aren't rigid or fixed. So I think the definition should be reflective of that as well.
Thank you, Valerie. Yes, and definitely on the fluid definition, but it's helpful to just know, what do we mean by parent engagement? It's such a like buzzy word, and parent engagement oftentimes is very particular to the environment, to the type of work. It's good to have something to know that the person next to you also means the same thing when they see parent engagement as you do. So just a little plug. I know we're not going into the general, but I just figured that this might be a good point. All right, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. If I could do a drum roll, I would. Can you hear it? Okay, collaboration parent leader role. What is it? So as we mentioned before, the role description is when parents actively participate in a collaboration. See, there's a collaboration and then there's a parent sitting there with them, and hopefully more than one, but this is a representation. And some engagement examples include participating in a collaborations parent team, And we'll talk a little bit about what's a collaboration parent team, and then becoming members of a collaboration and or a collaborations core team. So just being a collaboration member, that's what it's about, right? And in this role, parent leaders typically engage in collaborations decision-making. They share their lived experiences. They listen to and represent community, children, and families. So not only their experience, but those of their community. They engage and mentor other parents. And they may represent the collaboration externally. You know, a lot of times our collaborations are asked to speak on your work or to facilitate a workshop. Well, parents can, you know, should be invited to speak about their work themselves, and should be in the rooms too. Let's see. All right, and then we're going to get in a little bit more into the nuts and bolts. So, in terms of the engagement spaces, and okay, so while some parents will be ready to join the collaboration as members right away, many may feel intimidated and unprepared to attend the meeting. So, and we see this all the time, right? We invite parents, they come to a meeting, maybe two, and they don't come back. And so, you know, we don't know why, but a lot of times we've heard from parents that those meetings can be daunting and intimidating. And so one way that collaborations have found to help parents ease them into the collaboration is to offer them the option of joining a collaboration parent team. Y'all like my animations? I'm very proud of them. A collaboration parent team is a group of parents who meet regularly with the guidance and support of one or two, maybe more, of the collaborations parent engagement team. Now, the collaboration parent team can take the shape of a formal body, such as a parent advisory board or committee or group. However, we've also found that a less formal entity, such as a parent team, may seem less intimidating for parents to join. Again, this is just semantics, right? Like we're calling it collaboration parent team. You can call it whatever you want. And even better, parents can rename the space because it's going to be their space, right? That is such a great way to start building up that ownership. And we'll talk a little bit more about what this collaboration parent team entails. And then a very important thing is to remember to connect the two spaces. I know a lot of times we've talked about, or we know when we talk about parent only spaces, it invokes some serious like cringe moments for some people. Like, we're not going to segregate the parents. Like, what are we doing? And it's not that's not what we're doing. It's only segregating if you don't connect the two and if you don't share power with the parents. And oftentimes the collaboration parent team can elect or somehow figure out a way to be represented formally on the early childhood collaboration. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And so more on the parent only space. I'm also very proud of these icons. So in a parent-only space, parents can start building a network of trust and support with each other. They can identify and prioritize early childhood issues to share with a collaboration. And have y'all ever been to a parent meeting and you have an issue and you talk to another parent and that parent has the same issue and it starts bubbling up? And so kind of this is what happens in those spaces where you get parents together. They get to start talking about, okay, like what are the issues that we are all going through? They can review and provide feedback to the collaboration with a little bit more time. It's not like, hey, you came to a meeting, what do you think about this? And you're like, like right on the spot. But really, you know, you give them some time to talk it through, to think it through, and then to provide feedback. this is an amazing opportunity to also support the development of parent leadership through capacity building and trainings and opportunities. You can have or bring regular, there'll be some onboarding training, but just ongoing regular training, speakers, opportunities for parents to practice what they're learning from these trainings. Be a space to do this. Would a Facebook groups be a space to do this? Thanks for that question, Val. I think a Facebook group would be a good vehicle. Oftentimes, I think the Facebook group is a vehicle, but I would recommend having, if not an in-person parent group that meets regularly, a remote parent group that meets regularly, and then they can use a Facebook group to keep in touch or to even bring other parents. But yeah, Facebook is a great tool for sure. And then, and because this is the parent leadership team serves as what I like to call like a leadership incubator. It's, it's a safe space for parents to gain skills, knowledge, confidence before, they get to start jumping into the collaboration itself. They can also set and work together to accomplish their own early childhood goals and projects. Some parent teams for some collaborations have, I know in Cicero, the parent leaders, they run their own parent cafes, right? It's a need. It's a need that they're fulfilling in the community, but it's also them growing their own skills by learning how to facilitate parent cafes for other parents, by coordinating the logistics and all that. So it's not necessarily something that the collaboration is doing, but that it's the parents' project, and that also helps build leadership and confidence and have parents pitch in the way that they want to. At any time, if there's any questions, thank you, Val, for modeling that. But yeah, like just jump in, mute, unmute, or just put it in the chat. And I know I've been talking a lot at you all. Me talking is gonna go down, and you talking is gonna go up in a bit. All right. So, and now, we talked a little bit about, what it is, where it happens, a little bit of how it happens. And I want to jump in and talk about why, why implement this rule if you're not yet convinced. So we are going to be hearing a Parent Perspectives video from an amazing leader, Rose Grillier. And as you watch the video, if you can just think about what resonated with you the most from what Rose shared. We won't have everybody share, but if you want to share what resonated with you, we'll check in after the video. All right. Let me see if I can do this. Are you seeing Rose? Cool. All right, let me.
Parents are at the root of everything. If you think about our families and the structure of it, what is at the center? Parents. Parents are the first caregivers. Parents are the first educators. Parents are the decision makers, believe it or not, in a child's life. And they are the after effect of everything that child will experience. And so we have to be at the tables that are making decisions that will impact our families and our communities. The collaboration wasn't just about what parents wanted to demand that they deserved for their children, but it was also about helping systems work better for our families. It was also about sharing information and best practices. And I think just the dynamic around building relationships, not only between systems and policy and providers, but folks on the ground, building those connections and having us have those hard conversations and work together has just been a benefit to make sure that policies and systems are working better for everyone, for all families. In all earnest, sometimes the very folks, I think that we all care about our children, whether it's the parents or even the providers or policymakers come in with the thought that they want to do what's best for children. Sometimes because we just have a thought and we don't necessarily know the details, it makes us hard. And my philosophy is nothing about us without us. And that simply means you can't make a plan for my life if you don't know anything about my life. And I think the collaboration has caused us to know each other. Parent and family engagement to me means that we see each other as true partners. Parents aren't just some folks who are at home and they gave birth to a child that you then take control of. It's a partnership where we're communicating. We're seeing through the eyes of each other what's working well, what's not working well. But if we were at the table in the first place as a true partner, I think we would save a lot of money. I think we save a lot of time. And I know we'd have some awesome policy systems and a much better world.
Ms. Rose, isn't she powerful? I'm a fan. There we go. Does anybody want to share what resonated with you the most from what, and I know Rosalia is her name, but I know her as Rose. So you must be like, who's Rose? From what Ms. Rose said. Relationships matter. Yes.
Giving the power to the parents.
Giving the power to the parents.
I like her quote, nothing about us without us.
That's a good one, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, Ms. Rose is partnerships, yes. She is a powerhouse. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we can sit here and dissect all of what Ms. Rose said, and we'd be here for the full 2 hours. I just wanted to share from, again, from the people doing the work directly, what collaboration work meant to her and why it was so important. Thank you all. And Ms. Rose really laid it out, but I'm gonna recap. I won't do her justice, but here we go. I'll try. Okay, collaborations engage parents in this role. And all, you know, you'll see this as a why for implementing all 4 of the engagement roles, but to identify and prioritize systems change efforts that will have the biggest impact for families. What does it mean, right? Like to hear from parents about their interests and their needs to make sure that our programs and our collaborations are tailoring not only outreach efforts, but also our services to families that are underserved, and that our actions will have the biggest impact for them or with them. To increase parent participation and leadership in the collaboration. Well, you know, a lot of times, I think that's one of the biggest questions that we hear, like, how do we get more parents to serve on the collaboration? Well, this is a role, and that's what you're looking for. Collect real-time parent input on all collaboration efforts. I think, you know, the basic parent engagement, or the, you know, what we want to make sure that we're doing is hearing from parents, and a lot of times that's great to do it via surveys, focus groups, and things like that, but those take time. How, you know, how awesome is it to have a partner that has a lot of these connections and knowledge sit with you next to you on the collaboration, so that every part of the collaboration can be informed from that perspective as well. And if you want to recruit knowledgeable and dedicated stakeholders to your collaboration, you can't find anyone else more dedicated than a parent. And I know that we're up there as providers, but man, those are their kids, you know, they're hardcore, or how Ms. Rose would say, they're ride or die. And then to strengthen relationships with parents. Okay, and I see Sierra, building relationships with parents because they are the first resource to know what their child needs. Yes. Thank you, Sierra. Okay. And we know collaborations aren't the only ones benefiting from engaging parents as collaboration parent leaders. How do you think that parents benefit from engaging in this role? Maybe somebody we haven't heard from before. From having their voices heard, yes. Why is it important for their voices to be heard? Respect, yes, yes. Gaining autonomy and confidence in their abilities. Yes, yes, yes to all of those, for sure. It makes them feel a part of what is going on. Thank you, Lou. Ability to inform and change mainstream narratives. Yep. And systems, right? Let's see. They help shape the early childhood system so it could work better for their children and for other children in their community. And I think if you ask a parent why they join, that's what they'll probably say first, although there's many reasons. They, to what has already been shared. Okay, David, thank you. Ownership and investment, yes. Helps empower them. Exactly. It helps build skills, knowledge, and self-determination. It helps them recognize their own power because, like, to be honest, as parents, like, we already are leaders. We already have the power. We just need to recognize it. And how does this happen? Because they gain knowledge about the early childhood system. They develop support networks. Raising children is hard, y'all. Like, I have a 12-year-old. It is hard. It is so nice to be able to go to a space and just find other people that are going through the same journey and help each other. It helps with that social isolation and system isolation as well. And they help practice teamwork. Amongst so great role models for their children. Yes, like, there's so many. I feel like we had to keep it, short for this slide, but there's so many benefits both for the collaboration and for parents and their families for engaging in early childhood systems as a parent collaboration parent leader. Oh, so many words. All right, so we're here at poll question number 2. I just want to hear on where you all are with your journey and in terms of engaging parents on your collaboration. So the poll question is, do you engage parents as collaboration parent leaders in your collaboration or your whatever affiliation you are with? Do you engage them as a partner? Are they there with you in the room? So, like, yes, no. No, not yet, but we plan to. And so, Kristen, I don't see it, but I trust that it's already out there. Let's see. Okay, Valerie, thank you for engaging in the chat. See, I think we need to shift away from the idea that people need to be empowered. It will lead to more meaningful engagement. Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I think a lot of parent engagement is just reminding folks of their power and sharing that power with them within the systems too. I think if we want to empower people that way, let's do it. Oh, no, you're good. All right, Maureen, sometimes. Maureen, can I bug you and ask you to elaborate on that sometimes? Julie, her reminders of power are important.
So I said sometimes because it kind of depends on what we're working on and the yeah, like the focus of what our collaboration is working on. So especially when we're doing our community assessments, and we're trying to understand the data. We definitely bring parents in, but when we're working on like so when we started working on parental mental health, we definitely engaged parents, and then through that focus we moved toward perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, postpartum depression, and we had a lot of people with lived experience. And so but there are other times where we've been working on things that haven't been as exciting to parents, and they haven't wanted to be involved, or it was hard for us to find parents who wanted to be involved.
That makes
So
sense.
it depends.
Thank you, Maureen, for sharing that. All right, so poll number 2, thank you, Vanessa. So 75% say yes, 4% say no, 21% no, not yet, but we plan to. Just wanted to check in to see where folks are with, in terms of how much experience in engaging collaboration parent leaders is in the room. And then back to Maureen's point. So I think that the idea and how we are approaching this role is that engagement happens continuously, in at least in the parent team, right? That parent team helps helps us continue. Gosh, I'm like at a loss for words. I need more coffee. So that we are engaging parents throughout the year, and that it's not only on certain things, but that they are constantly engaged. Now, I think why this space of a parent-only space that goes on and is staffed and is meeting regularly throughout the year important is because, as we know too, like circumstances for parents change. So they may jump in and out of that space based on interest, right? But based on a personal circumstance, just things happening, right? But it's good to know that they have a space where they can jump back in or they can connect, and that's always there. I see it as like a stream of engagement that parents can jump in and out of, and it helps to have something continuous. And also, Maureen, I don't know, I definitely don't know what are the things that parents aren't interested in, but I think that'd also be an interesting conversation, right? Like, why are they not interested in that? Is it something that they don't think is applicable to them, or is it like just bogged down? Or I think that would be something interesting to dive into. Unfortunately, we can't right now, but some questions to think about that. All right. Well, thank you all. It seems like there's a lot of you are already engaging, folks. So cool. So some of this might be review, but I hope that it's not all review. And then there's also my hope that at the end, when we have these breakout sessions, peer learning and reflection, that we air these nuances, right? Like on paper, like, Janet, this sounds cool, but when we did it, guess what? It's not turning out how you told us. So I want to make some spaces, have those conversations too. All right, so let's move it on so that we can make sure that we give everybody a break at 11:01. All right, so now even more exciting section is the how to engage parents as collaboration parent leaders. So we're going to go through about 8 or 9 steps, recommendations that you can do to either to strengthen your engagement in this role or to begin your engagement in this role. First and foremost, you might have heard it from me before, but intentionality is really, really important. And so as a collaboration, like identify your objective for this role and what because then that will lead to, well, what responsibilities are you asking parents to fulfill in this role? So are you implementing this engagement role so that parents can help identify systemic gaps? And if so, then you'll really want to dig in on helping parents identify what's not working, on really talking through some of what's not working, and talking about solutions. So that's where you want to concentrate the work, or do you want parents to inform and support your ongoing work? And that will be, and if that's kind of one of the main objectives, you'll want to be intentional about having those connections with the parent team and the collaboration proper, like the full collaboration team. And or is it that you want parents to engage in leadership development? If that's an objective, you know the responsibilities need to reflect that. Are they engaging in trainings? Are you coaching and supporting that they practice what they're learning in these trainings? So these are not exhaustive objectives or responsibilities, but these are just some that that tend to come up and that collaborations tend to identify. And it could be all of them too. You could be like, I want to do all of it. After you figure out what it is that you want to do with this, what do you want to accomplish with this role, and what do you want parents to do, you will also want to consider and invest resources. The grass grows where we water it, and it will stop growing the moment that we stop watering it. And so you can refer to the handbook on page 16 for more details. Some of the investments or resources that you might want to consider are parent engagement leads, who's going to be doing the work, right? It's a lot of work. Who's going to be doing it? Who's going to be leading it? Translation, interpretation of meetings and materials. Once we go back to in-person, if we ever go back to in-person, refreshments, childcare, transportation, these things cost money. And then parent stipends and compensation. They are bringing an invaluable perspective, an invaluable resource, and spending a lot of time on this. So it's important that we value them as we would value any consultant, and compensate them for their contributions. And then professional development, whatever that may look like, trainings most of the time. And again, on page 16 of the handbook that we shared is a resource, Appendix E, important resources for effective parent engagement and early childhood collaborations. So it goes a little bit more into a lot of the resources that we listed and more. It talks about a little bit into like how to think about it and how to plan around them. It also addresses stipends, right? Like when to pay stipends, when you might, if you're not able to, how to handle that, how to go about the process of stipends in a transparent and fair way, because that could also, get messy if it's not handled well. And there is also a section that we hope will give some guidance around finding resources in an environment of scarce resources, because I know that's a big one. We're not gonna pretend here like everybody's, like we're flowing in money, because we're not. I wish we could go in a little bit more, but I recommend kind of looking into the tool, and then there's also other ways that we can support outside of this training that include on-demand consultation. That's completely free with our team, and we'd be happy to also work with you around that. And then, so we know what we're doing, why we're doing it. We looked at kind of the resources that we have or that we need to find. And now we're going to determine parent engagement leads. So some options are paid staff, which is always ideal, but not always possible. Oh, okay. Or we can, what is sometimes necessary is that the same collaboration members who are passionate about engaging parents can join a parent engagement team to lead the work. And oftentimes it might be something that overlaps their personal goals or their individual agency goals. And so this might be something that also advances the collaboration's goals and that consists of their personal job responsibilities. So, or not, and people might just be so committed that they do it on top of their work. Hopefully we're moving towards a place in the state where we can have money to fund parent engagement. And then in terms of parent engagement leads, some of the work may include leading parent recruitment efforts, so finding the parents and connecting them to the collaboration, coordinating parent participation. When are the meetings happening? How are we supporting all the parents? All that good stuff. Supporting and coaching parents. And then, and this one is not, I don't think we think about it as much, but assisting the collaboration to build parent engagement capacity. So the leads are exactly that, like they're leading it, they're doing a lot of the engagement, but parent engagement is everyone's work. And so you want to be building up your collaboration capacity as well, and they can help lead some of that. I know I've been talking a lot. We're going to do an activity right now, I promise. So we want to also bring your attention to recruitment and to target your recruitment for those collaboration parent leaders, and recommend that you engage those that are most impacted by the issues that you are trying to address as a collaboration. Oftentimes those are going to be the groups that are underserved in your community and the collaboration footprint, which will often overlap with socially isolated groups also that you don't hear from. And so oftentimes as a collaboration, you want to increase, right, like those services to the groups that you either are not reaching or are in your programs but are not having the same outcomes as the other groups, or oftentimes as white, more wealthier children. So this is a perfect opportunity to recruit those families from the underserviced groups to help you build a system that will reach and service everyone more equitably. Okay, and then we're gonna do this activity and then we'll go on a break. So reflection question for y'all. Think about an underserved group from your community. It can be, oftentimes it is like racialized people or like BIPOC people, Black, Indigenous, people of color. It can include like English language learners, maybe children and who are living in poverty. What is a group that is underserved from your community? And then how would you go about reaching those members of the group if you wanted to invite them to join your collaboration parent team? I'll give you a minute to think about it, and then whoever wants to share, or maybe you already done this work, right? How have you reached those groups? How have you tailored your outreach to them? Is there a place you can find them? Is it a partner that you can talk to and just be like, hey, can I come in and talk to parents that you engage in that community center or that English as a second language class? Does anybody want to share what's coming up for them? Amber, thank you. We are reaching through neighborhoods in one summer neighborhood work as well as our laundromat programs. Thanks, Amber. You know, I'm going to ask you to elaborate on that, right? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, in the summer, we go to 7 neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods have been picked based on readiness skills, access. And when we're looking at access, we're looking at families that don't use like library services, participate in other activities. So we lead the work going into those and take bilingual teachers. I call them teachers. Really, they're more family engagement specialists is basically what they are. And we use them as family engagement specialists / teachers. As well as some of these same people go to the laundromats in our early learning centers that are in 3 of the laundromats. And so that's one of our opportunities to get parent voice, but we also try to get parent voice through other community partners who are doing probably a much better job at it than we are.
Thank you, Amber. That's a really good example of targeted outreach. And see, like if you were to be starting or, you know, if you're looking to recruit for a collaboration parent team, going to those spaces where they already are would be great, and really targeting that recruitment. All right, so it's 11:01. We'll give you 11:02 now. We'll give you a 10-minute break and we'll come back in 10 minutes. So at 11:12. Sounds good? Thank you. Drink some coffee if you need it so that you. Everybody's there. I just can't see y'all. And if you're not, just jump in when you get back. Honestly, I bought some coffee this morning and it was coffee flavored water and I'm struggling a little bit. I'm struggling. All right. And now, so we talked a lot about helping prepare parents for the collaboration space. But I also want to talk about what we don't talk about as often is helping prepare the collaboration space for parents. And so we're going to do an activity. So yay, I'm going to stop talking that one of my colleagues introduced me to using reverse brainstorming. Has anybody done reverse brainstorming before? So reverse brainstorming is the practice of, instead of asking a group to brainstorm ideas that would work, the group brainstorms all the ideas that they could cause a plan to fail. So like the opposite, what would you not do? Once a group has this list, then they look at the specific examples and come up with ways to achieve the opposite effect.
Janet, I think you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, oops. Thank you. Let's see. There's so many things happening on my screens right now. Okay. I think I got it. We good? Cool. All right. So we are going to use reverse brainstorming to generate ideas for how to create an inclusive and supportive environment for parents. We're gonna do it together, like in a full group, but using Jamboard. So, should open my Jamboard. Well, let me explain a little bit what we're gonna do, and then I'll share my screen that will share the Jamboard. So in Jamboard, we're gonna list all the things that we can do to create a space that is not welcoming, inclusive, or supportive of parents. So these like bad ideas. And then we're gonna come up with ways to achieve the opposite of each bad idea. So we're gonna write in the good ideas on a sticky note and place it next to the bad idea, which in essence can then be, you know, as a collaboration, if you do this activity, then you'll end up with all these things, all the good ideas, and then you have a conversation to dwindle down like maybe your top 10 inclusion practices and policies. And then we'll have a group discussion. Well, let's do one thing first, Joe. Let's jump on this Jamboard and do all the bad ideas first. If I can get this Jamboard to move. Okay. Okay. So this is an example right here. I'm gonna move this green one first. Let's just do all the yellow ones first. So on a yellow sticky note, you, for people who are not super familiar with the Jamboard, what you're gonna do is click on the icon, the fourth icon down, which is this sticky note, and then this window will pop up, and then you could just type your idea on there, and then you save, and then it pops up, usually pops up on the upper left-hand corner. You might have to move it around by pressing the left clicker. I'm so old. And then moving it around. So one example for me that I put out there, right? Like a bad idea, like how to not make meetings inclusive is to schedule meetings at inconvenient times for parents. So like at school pickup and drop off time. So feel free, we'll take about 5 minutes, and then we want to leave some space in between the bad ideas so that we can put the good ideas. So maybe spacing them out like this. And then feel free to use other frames if we're running out of space. You can navigate the frames by using these arrows at the top. And if you don't have, for whatever reason, if you can't access the Jamboard and you want to put things in the chat so one of us can put it on there, or just say it out loud, we can do that. This one's getting a little full, so feel free to start putting things on the second frame or the third. Pick your own frame. Are you seeing my Jamboard? Okay.
So Janet, we're supposed to go to like screen 2 and 3, right?
Yeah, if it's getting.
Looks like the question's the same. Is the question supposed to be the same on all the pages?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Just
the
checking.
same, just more space.
I see. Okay, great.
Thank you, Amber. So we'll keep on coming up with bad ideas until about 11:21 or 22. And then we'll switch over to making our bad ideas good ideas. But let's focus on the bad ideas for now. Seeing some really good ones. I love this activity, and it's something that you can use with your own community or collaboration, because we know obstacles to participation and things that make people not feel included sometimes are the same across the board, but sometimes are very specific to location and culture. One more minute to keep on producing the bad ideas. Oh, I need to sneeze. My allergies are flaring up. All right, does anybody need any more time for the bad ideas? Oh, good, because we're out of time. Okay, so now, if you can take some time to read the bad ideas and then offer a good idea to do the opposite of your bad idea. And I'll ask you all to put it near or touching a little bit like the bad idea so that we know what bad idea it is addressing. So for example, originally, and it doesn't have to be your bad idea. You could put a good idea to any bad idea. So like, for example, if you want to not be inclusive or want to make it really hard for parents to come to your meetings, then schedule them at inconvenient times. And then a potential solution to that, or the good idea, which I'm going to ask you all to put it in as a green sticky, is to work with parents to set meeting times that are convenient for everyone, prioritizing parents. So we'll take about 5 minutes to go around and offer some potential good ideas for the bad ones. Any questions? All right. I know we're running out of space here, so I'm going to start copying, cutting and moving them to the other, some of these bad ideas to the other frames. Sorry if it throws you off. Feel free to move things around if you need more space. You can also resize your stickies by dragging the right-hand corner down or up. right. Now we probably won't get to finish finding a good idea for every bad idea, but I just wanted you all to get, get the gist of the activity so that it's something that you can do with your collaboration and, start to kind of identify some possible parent inclusion policies and practices. So at this point, I know you might still be offering some good ideas, but if you could just take a minute or so to look at what has been shared today with us, because we are going to have a brief group discussion about, like, did any of the obstacles or did any of the bad ideas surprise you? And which of the inclusion practices, like the good ideas, the green Post-its, which one stands out to you? And so I'm talking about these ideas in terms of like, a parent inclusion policy and practice, but like I said earlier, the next step for this activity would be to get all the good practices, all the good Post-its, make a list, and have a conversation as a group to, like, clean them up, which ones go together, maybe, and prioritize maybe 10 or so that you will incorporate into your collaboration charter, into your collaboration materials as a commitment for this is how we create an inclusive collaboration space for parents. And then you hold each other accountable to it. All right, so does anybody want to share, did any of the bad ideas surprise you? Or is this just common sense at this point? Or just stand out to you? I guess maybe surprise is a very harsh word. Valerie?
I was gonna say, Janet, like, on the one hand, it's common sense, but I think we also take a lot of these things for granted. So it's a really good reminder to, there was something on here, like withhold judgment. And I think with that is like check our own biases when we enter these spaces. So like I said, it's common sense, I think, to a lot of folks here, but it also just serves as a good reminder.
Thanks. I know sometimes you go to these trainings and you're like, wow, like that did not give me anything new, Janet. But thank you, Valerie, for, I think just creating an intentional space to remind ourselves. And some of these inclusion policies practices are not that hard, right? Like I'm looking at if you don't have childcare, anything like toys or books for children to play with, something as easy as carrying like a bag of toys or coloring pages, things like that can make a difference.
Yeah, I always think parent engagement or, parent villages or parent teams or whatever are always interesting because your funders want you to have somebody at the table, right? They always say, we want somebody on your board that's a parent, that's a parent. And then talking about not having them be able to participate is what I'm always saying. Like when it's my executive board members, the time that they can meet is not the same time a parent can meet. And so it's not really in a lot of ways a fair ask. So you need to have both pieces that talk back and forth to each other. Maybe they come maybe they could come quarterly and inform and do talk a little more about what's happening in the team. But it's always really hard because my funders are always like, do you have parents on the board? And I'm like, we use parents in a different way. I mean, it's a hard ask for parents to meet at 11 o'clock during the day or 9 o'clock in the morning or 4 in the afternoon or whatever. We have to be very mindful of their time.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Amber. And I think as a as someone who engages parents or wants to promote parent engagement, oftentimes we are that bridge, right, with other partners to advocate, to help them understand, to just, to say like, if you want our parents to participate, this is what we need from you. So it's not only about you practicing your parent inclusion policies and practices, but advocating for partners to do the same. And that's how we change culture. And I know it's not always easy, and then we might ask and they might be like, you're crazy, but we keep asking and advocating. Thank you so much for that. You know what, I'll type these up and send them out, but also you have the link to the Jamboard if you see any good ideas or want to take a look at them and you didn't get a chance. But thank you for that. Am I sharing? Okay. Wait, are you seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, it's so weird because I'm not seeing the back into it. So weird. Okay. Where are you? It's hiding. Okay, there we go. All right. Super quickly, a lot of the obstacles to participation came up in the activity that we did, but just some others to consider that generally support parents. We want to eliminate obstacles to parent participation, and that includes providing support. So training, coaching, and guidance. We'll go a little bit right now into what this entails. Parent stipends for their time and contribution. And then in terms of accessibility, and I do want to frame it as accessibility because, like things as little or as important as help accessing and participating in online meetings is an accessibility issue, but also, convenient meeting schedules, locations, having key materials and formats and languages that parents can understand in a timely way, right? Send them ahead of time because they might, need to, if they're not used to working in that space, they might need to take some time to like really go through, understand, maybe look up some stuff. Simple language, avoiding jargon and acronyms. And childcare, right? Like, as a parent, I've taken my fussy like 2-3-year-old to a meeting. I've actually given a testimony with my child like on my hip, and I cannot be present if my child is like right there asking for my attention because I'm splitting my attention many different ways. Transportation support. And then again, once we get to in-person refreshment meals, and not only for parents, but their families, right? Like if I'm a parent and I'm in a meeting, I'm not gonna cook dinner for my family, so they're all gonna need to eat, not just me. And I'm gonna fly through some of this quickly because I do want to get to the part where you all get to talk to each other and we talk about like these nuances. All right, so then, these are things that we're doing, right, to start engaging parents in this role of parent collaboration leader. So you eliminate obstacles to participation. Oh, and the big one is just ask parents, what's an obstacle to you participating, and then address it because it's going to look different wherever you are. So you have figured out what you're doing, who's doing it, how are you resourcing it, you're eliminating obstacles to participation, and then you want to start convening regular parent-only meetings. And then some ideas for what might be on the first few meeting agendas can include helping them set group norms, reviewing expectations or re-reviewing expectations and roles, and just a lot of team building exercises, just again, like helping them get to know each other. And then the other trainings can come later. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the trainings can entail also. So when thinking of what trainings you want to bring to the parents that you're engaging as collaboration parent leaders, ask yourself, right? Like, what do parents need to know to fulfill this role? And what do parents need to know how to do to fulfill this role? Some initial trainings may include background on the collaboration. I have talked to leaders who are a part of a collaboration team who are like, I don't even know what the collaboration is or does. Like, I'm over here in this space, I have no idea. It's so important to let them know. And it might have to happen a few times, a collaboration, like when people ask me what I do for a living and I'm like, I train and coach collaborations. I have to explain in detail what the hell a collaboration is, excuse my language. So it's not like the most intuitive thing. And you might want to review the early childhood system landscape, like what is it, what's around. And it has been a great and powerful practice to offer parent leadership trainings.
Janet, I still have board members that I swear I don't think they still totally understand what we do.
Exactly. And
because if they're just coming to the board members and they're at board meetings and they're not really getting involved in the work, they're sitting there making decisions from the bird's eye view and they don't really understand the work. And I'm just always like floored. I'm like, how many times do we have to go over this? You know,
it's not intuitive as we think it is, although like we eat, sleep, and breathe it, right? Parent leadership training is very important. We don't offer parent leadership training, but there's a lot of organizations that do. You can go on our website to find them. And storytelling is another very important one, right? We want to have parents share their lived experiences, and a storytelling format or structure can help that. And there's so many, right? These are not exhaustive at all. And when we talk about coaching as adult learners and doers, you know, we go to trainings, but most of the learning happens when we are applying what we learned. And so coaching is such an important part of engaging parents as collaboration parent leaders, right? And it could include moral support and encouragement. I cannot underscore the importance of encouragement for everyone, including, you know, for parent leaders, collaboration parent leaders, creating and supporting new learning opportunities for parents. Maybe parents are taking turns facilitating or running their parent team meetings. That's a new skill, right? They get familiar with what an agenda is, how to run it, how to build an agenda. So when they come into a collaboration, they're like, I know what an agenda is. I could run this meeting. Help prepare for upcoming tasks, making sure they have the materials that they need, walking through the materials. I know that we shouldn't assume that parents don't know how to engage in these spaces or that they don't understand the material, but we also shouldn't assume that they do, right? So just meeting them where they're at. Where are you at? And then let's work, you know, to fill in the gaps, any gaps that might be there. And then debriefing learning experience. Okay, you try to do something new. How did it go? What went well? What could be, where can you improve? And then helping them continue to develop their leadership. And this is hard, y'all. Like, have you had conversation? It's like, I know we want to be encouraging and offer moral support. And if you haven't built a culture where you are giving constructive criticism, this could be hard. But how are we going to learn and grow if we're not having these conversations? And that's part of the coaching. All right, super quickly, you know, we talked about it earlier. Not to use a strong word, but like, we're not segregating parents. We're connecting the parent team to the collaboration. And a few ways that we can do it again is intentional parent representation on the collaboration, clear and transparent decision-making power on the collaboration. Okay, do the representatives of the parent team each have a vote? Do they have more votes? How does it work? Your collaboration can decide that. A designated collaboration agenda item for the parent team representatives on every agenda. You know, give us an update on what the parent team was working on. What do you want to share with us? What, you know, or like just something, we want to ask you something, but like some time for them. And then a feedback loop between parent team and the collaboration, making sure that information is going back and forth. Right, so super quick recap. If you're wanting to engage parents as collaboration leaders, and recommendations are, so identify your role objective and then align them to the responsibilities of the parent collaboration leaders, and best resources, determine who's going to do the work, target your recruitment, eliminate obstacles to parent participation, create a parent-only space, offer trainings, offer coaching, and last but not least, connect the parent team to the collaboration. Okay. So we do have a
Janet, can you go back to that? Can you speak a little bit more to create a parent-only space? Meaning what?
Oh yeah. So I think it's this one. Just hold regular meetings of
I
the
see what you
parent
mean.
team.
I see what you mean. You mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When you said it, I was thinking, oh, okay, wait, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just that. Maybe it's like, yeah. I could use a better title, but yeah, just convene continuous meetings. It could be, and parents could send that cadence. It could be once a month, once every 2 weeks. Okay. In terms of recruitment, I have like 3 slides and then we're gonna go to the, we're gonna have these conversations. Okay, you already, I'm sure, probably practice a lot of these things, but it's good to offer regular leadership trainings because then you can recruit those participants that are, you know, I've just had this training on leadership, on setting goals for myself and my family. I'm, you know, recognizing my own power and I want to maybe see what's next. I want to jump in. Oh, really? Because now we have an opportunity for you. So ongoing parent leadership trainings are awesome. Utilizing cross-system personal invitations. So again, like connecting with partners that already do have those relationships and encouraging them to participate, having them encourage their parents to participate. Find parents where they are, literally, and using the peer-to-peer recruitment model. Having parents that are already participating share their stories on what that experience has been for them and helping them recruit other parents. Super quickly, really important to whatever engagement role you're inviting parents to, clarify expectation and responsibilities very specifically. This will help you with retention. If I don't know what I'm jumping into, I jump in, I find out, you know what, this isn't what I thought I was. I'm gonna leave and then I wasted my time, you wasted your time. Let people know what they're going into. And, you know, heavy on the building relationships. If you can, meet individually with each interested parent. All right, yay, let's jump into the group discussion. Okay, so we're gonna go into breakout groups for, let's do 10 minutes. And we're going to talk about your experiences, right? With a lot of you have engaged parents as collaboration parent leaders. How does what we talked about align with that experience? What is or might be the most challenging for you about engaging parents in this role? And then what do you want to encourage your collaboration to do? So Kristen's going to put those questions in the chat and then we're going to put you into a breakout group for 10 minutes. Any questions? All right. Link in the chat. And we would really, really appreciate if you can offer us some constructive criticism on how we continue to make these trainings better. I'm not going to, I want to see as many faces as I can. So, you know, that breakout time was to help you all kind of talk amongst yourselves and hopefully connect. I know it's not a lot of time, but we encourage you all to share contact information and continue these conversations outside of this space. But for now, so the last maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, just want to ask you all, so what are some questions, concerns, or thoughts or feelings that you still have about engaging parents as collaboration parent leaders? So any lingering questions, feelings, thoughts, You could just use a chat or jump in. It's okay, we're still processing too. Did anybody come in with a question or something they really wanted to find out more about into this training? It's a rainy Wednesday, I understand. Well, is it, well, not for everybody, just for me for sure. Val, you want to jump in?
Can I actually ask a question? Somebody had mentioned earlier about a laundromat, like recruiting or talking at a laundromat. What does that look like? Walking up to people or having like a meeting scheduled at a laundromat?
Oh, Amber had to leave, but it is Amber from Apple, the Early Childhood Collaboration, and Elgin. And I think we can definitely connect you all, but I can speak to what I know about it. So, you know, they train parents to engage children and their families at the laundromat. So yeah, I think it is a little bit about going up to parents, but also offering, you know, like there's a lot of downtime at the laundromat, so offering some activities to do, and then materials, and kind of working with parents on some strategies for spending time and doing some learning but fun activities with their children. Yeah, but we can definitely, if you like, we can connect you for sure.
Thank you.
There's a physical space in the laundromats they go to. Yeah. And in terms of recruitment, oh, there we go. Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing the link on the laundromat programs. In terms of recruitment, you're really tapping in, like finding parents and other engagement spaces. You know, are there parent meetings, adult education classes, like finding them where they're at. And then once you have 1 or 2 parents that are engaged, like they are the best people to find other parents. I mean, it's good if it's something that you do together, but I think they're the ones that are going to. And you know, as you're talking to parents, start collecting like names and contact information and start developing those relationships. I know it's hard when it's only one person, but I think there's a quality over quantity sometimes is worth it. So I want to respect everyone's time. So the last slide is just some information about some additional supports that we offer as a program.
Janet Valerie has her hand up.
Oh, Valerie, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally okay. I'd rather respect everyone's time.
Well, I was gonna say, whoever wants to stick around, we can, and talk. I'm more than happy.
Val, if you want to stick around, I can talk a little bit about the work that we do in laundromats as well. It doesn't have to be long, like maybe just a couple minutes.
So we, you know, this again is a start of hopefully a conversation. There are so many supports that we offer as a team. Visit our website, partnerplanact.org. There's so many amazing things on there. You can see also our parent engagement handbook in its entirety. We shared the 3rd section, but there's 2 more sections to it. You can access it on our website. There's also a parent engagement on-demand learning course. So it's online. You kind of go at your own pace. It's very interactive. There's parent engagement videos. There's some videos just kind of like similar to what you saw with Rose's video today. And then we also offer on-demand consultation, which is free consultation with our team, any coaching or like talks or trainings, anything that might be helpful. So thank you all so much. Please fill out our evaluation. I'll stick around if anybody wants to connect with each other and use the space. I'm very grateful for you all and hope you can join us next Wednesday for the next workshop on Outreach Ambassador. Thank you all.